Good morning, everybody. It's the Mooch Yard Guy, and I'm coming to you this morning and trying things a little bit different. I got some feedback on my other videos and said I walked around a little bit too much and was a little distracting. And so I decided to try it from this approach. I'm going to stay in the garage here for a little while this morning, and then I'll take you out to the yard and show you some things I've got going on. So I want to start off this morning by letting you know, again, I'm the Mooch Yard Guy. I'm in Northwest Georgia. I've got a Bermuda front yard, a fescue backyard. The reason why I have a difference is because the fescue in the back is in a wooded area, gets a lot of shade, and that's the only thing that'll grow back there that I've had any luck with. I'm just an average, I'd say amateur yard guy. I'm going to try a lot of different products on my yard and share it via this video on YouTube so you can see what's working for me or what may not be working for me. Maybe you can give me some feedback and tell me things that I'm doing good or things I'm doing bad or I can improve, and I welcome that. If you like my videos, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and let me know your opinions through some comments. Now, for you, those of you that haven't followed me, if you want to know, my yard, I had some cement work done with a patio out back, and the cement truck came through, scarred up my front yard pretty bad. A line trench going down through the middle of it, and they dropped oil in the front yard. And so I had some things going on with that. I thought that they may have brought in some type of issue with my yard. It turned out to be a fungus that had gotten out of control and really bad on the yard. And so I had a lot of issues to deal with starting from the very beginning. The yard itself, what I did is I scalped it down at the beginning of the season in the spring. And then when all this damage was done, I didn't want to scalp it again and cause some damage that would set me back. So I shaved it back down or scalped it in the area where the oil got dropped, and I did a line down the front of the yard or through the middle of the yard, and it looked really bad. I kept it up like that, treating it for the fungus and cutting the yard until finally just the unevenness of everything was getting to me. So I went through and I scalped. I didn't scalp it again. I took off over a third of the yard, which we're not supposed to do, but I wanted to even it all out. And unfortunately, that set the yard back, did some more damage to the yard, but it had to be done. Just my OCD side of me was really getting bothered by it being different levels. So the issue that I've got right now is I've got a really green part going down the front, and up at the front of the yard where I scalped it down the initial time, it's really greened up and it's looking good. The rest of the yard's trying to play catch up with it. The old winter growth is still trying to get choked out by the new growth, and so you can see a difference, but it's catching up. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about today is what I did to try to get my yard recovered. The first thing that I did is I put out Anderson's Anderson's PGF Complete, and this is the bag it comes in here. Really great product. I put that in, I want to say about a month ago I put this down. It's a 16:4:8 ratio, and it's got humic DG in it. And I'll talk a little bit more about humic in just a little while here. But I put that down. Had some pretty good results with it. Nothing that just jumped out at me. I know you need to give it a while to work into the soil and let some things happen. But again, I was looking to get this yard recovered as quick as I could. So the next thing I ordered was an expensive product, and it's Humichar. And you've got your humic acid in there plus charcoal. And this is a, well, I'll read it right here to you. It's a naturally building healthy soils. It may increase or enhance micronutrient uptake. It says a lot of different things on here, but basically what it is, it's an all-natural product. And you put that in your soil, it's going to get down into the soil, and it starts to work to give you that black soil that you want, that makes the soil start taking up the nutrients naturally. And so whatever you put down on top of this, it helps to build and absorb that into the ground. Now, this isn't an overnight product that just miraculously saves your yard. It takes several applications. It could take years to get your soil to where you want it to be. But this starts that process and starts to build it. And so when I put it out, the charcoal in it, it's an instant activization thing. And now any other product that I put out there, it's going to help to absorb that much quicker because of the charcoal and things. Now the humic in it, everybody knows that humic's good for your yard, humic acid. And so that's going to be working with my yard. We're talking about organics and micronutrients, and the difference between the PGF Complete And the Humichar, you're talking about you having your macronutrients and your micronutrients. And your macro are all the big things that you want to have in your yard. The micro are things that are going to work in your soil. So I've had those two products down. Then next, I came in with everybody's favorite, Milorganite. And Milorganite's got a 6:4:0 ratio on it. And if you haven't researched Milorganite, then I encourage you to. It's listed as a fertilizer. I think it does a lot more organic bionutrients to your yard, putting those micros down into your yard. It's pretty much dummy proof. It says non-burning on the bag here, and it's a very slow release, as you can see up here at the top. Non-burning here, meaning that you can put out as much of this as you want. It just depends on how much you want to cut your yard, because this will make your yard grow, believe me. I put this out, had really good results from it. It seemed like it started greening up probably within 5 days after I put it out. It's a pretty good product. And again, this is a organic product. So then next I came in after that, and I started treating my fungus. And like I said, I had a really bad fungus problem. I went and got Scotch Fungus. I put it out, waited a week, then I came back and I sprayed Spectricide on the yard, and that's that Spectricide, I believe it's lawn and fungus disease. I sprayed it out. It comes in a black container. And then next I came in a week later with Heritage G, spread that out on the yard. And then after that, I'm going to try to say this right, guys, Propiconazole, I guess. It's this product here. I put it out and I sprayed it. And the reason why I use several different type of fungus treatments is because your yard can become accustomed to or used to a certain type of fungus treatment that you put on it. Kind of like with humans and antibiotics. If you take a certain antibiotic over and over and over, your body's going to build up a tolerance to it and basically become immune to it. So you want to rotate out your fungus disease treatments. And when you get those out, move to a different one. Then you can come back, or you can find a different one. But it worked. Rotating these out, it helped me get that fungus under control. That's starting to grow back out. The new grass is coming in, and it's going to choke all that out. I'll be able to cut it out. It should be all gone here. If it's not already gone and dead, it should be. But I'm also pre-treating this stuff because I'm in a time of year here in Georgia where humidity builds up. Dew can sit on the grass during the nights. You get your fungus starting to build up, and so I'm starting to pre-treat this and hoping that that's going to keep me from having these issues again. And then the next thing that I did is I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of for grubs. And I'm going to see if I can get you a good picture of this here. And this is called Doucide, I believe. You take a look at that. And this is a product by Anderson's. And we do have grubs and armyworms around this area. Armyworms more in the fall, around September. But the grubs, this is about the time of the year where we'll start seeing Japanese beetles and all sorts of beetles and things that'll be chewing on the rose bushes. Grubs coming up from the yard, getting on the crepe myrtles, getting on the canna lilies, things like that. So put an application of that out. So I'm saying I got all that put out. Now, this past week, I did a lot of research on N-Ext products, and you can see these N-Ext products back here. And I'm a true believer in N-Ext now, just from all the videos I've watched, the people I've talked about, the reviews that I've gotten, that I've read. And so I've got Air 8, I've got RGS, Humic 12, and Micro-Greene. The Air 8 is basically like aerating your yard without doing the mechanical damage to your yard. It helps, it seeps down into the soil, breaks the soil up, and makes the soil more receptive to the nutrients that you're going to put in there. The next is the RGS, and that's a root growth stimulator. I've got some problem areas down by the road that burn out during the summer, and it doesn't matter how much water that I put down there, it just gets crispy down there, and you can start to tell how quickly it gets stressed. And so I sprayed that, it along the road and along my driveway, and then I got to thinking, hey, I'm just going to put this out all over the yard, see what this does. So I put the RGS out. Humic 12, again, that's a natural compound. You put it out on your yard, and it helps build your soil. So it helps treat it to get you that black soil that you want. And it helps to, with the whole absorption process. When the soil starts turning, then it's going to absorb all these nutrients that you're putting it on there and make it better. The Micro-Greene, that's going to help me with my green up. I'm going to show you, all these I'm going to show you in these containers, this Micro-Greene. And if you can take a look there, that's pretty much what's down in the container. I started marking these bottles with the date that I'm putting these out. That's the Micro-Greene. This is the Humic 12. This is the RGS. And this is the Air 8. Now these are gallon bottles, and these are going to last me a pretty good while. I've got a 4,000 square foot yard, front yard, and I've got an area off to the side here. 4,000 square foot is what I'm treating. I want to see what the difference is between the applications that I'm going to put out with this stuff versus the other side. So I'm treating the 4,000 square foot. I had a couple different sprayers that I was using. I used a Chameleon, and I really didn't like the Chameleon. I didn't like the design of it, didn't like the setup of it. I thought it was going to be a good one. I'll be honest with you, it looked like a pretty bottle, so I thought, hey man, that's going to be the one for me. It didn't. So about a quarter of the way through, I jumped back to my, I bet 10-year-old Ortho sprayer, and it worked like a gem. I love it. But what you do on it, for my yard, I learned the pace by filling this up with water. I walked the pace of the yard, and I saw how quickly that I was using it. Did that a few times, and so then I knew what pace I wanted to use, and I turned out using 4 ounces. I turned my dial to 4. Now, what you're setting the dial on your sprayer for is not how much solution is in here. This is the speed of your walk right here. So I took the 4 ounces. I know the end of this tip will spray out 2 gallons a minute. And so I take my walking speed, which was 4 ounces, times the end of the sprayer, that's 2 gallons that this puts out. And then I fill this thing up depending on how much I'm spraying out here. And again, I've got about 4,000 square feet, so I was putting out, I forget now, I want to say 24 ounces that I put in here. The top of this fills up to 32. So I take the 4 times the 2, which is 8, and I divide it by 32, which gives me 4 minutes that I'm going to fill all of this up with. You get that? 4 times 2 divided by 32, and I'm walking this out in 4 minutes. So each one of those, they have their own different levels of chemicals that you're putting in here, or nutrients, I should say, not chemicals. So I sprayed those, and I put those out yesterday or 2 days ago, and that's it. I'm waiting for my results now. This morning, it's Saturday morning, and I'm out here watering the yard right now because we're going to have a really, really hot week coming up, and I want to make sure that I've got a lot of water down on it. I definitely see the results that's coming from all this work I've been doing to the yard. I'm going to be cutting the yard every 3 days, and that's what's been recommended by a lot of people. I know that a lot of people don't like to cut their yard, but I do. I like working in the yard. That's my main hobby. And so I'm going to be cutting it every 3 days and seeing how that does. And now let's take you out here to the yard. Now I know this is kind of a long video, and I hope that you're getting some information out of it here. Right now, again, I'm watering, but I'm going to show you a few things here. There's a huge difference if you'll go back and you'll look at my video from when I first put down the PGF Complete. If you look at it from then to now, you're going to see, find you here, this is the stripe that I was dealing with originally, right here. And that's where the line was coming down through that they damaged with the cement. Okay, step back out here into the sun. Over here, we're out here in the sun. I've done some leveling there. That's got sand up underneath it. That's for another video. I'll talk about that. But you can see my yard is really, really coming back in nice. The problem right now is just getting all that old damage that was on there choked out, and it'll all be green coming up through there. Down here next to the road, this is the other area that I had damage on, and this had oil all in it up through here. You can see the green line that's right here. That's where I'd scalped it, but everything's even now, and it's coming in nice throughout. I can't wait till it's all going to be green here. Then I've got this area over here. This area gets shaded from the hot afternoon shade by these Leland cypresses. And so it stays greener than this yard, which gets pounded by the sun all day long from the beginning till the end of the day. So this is a greener looking yard. You can't tell because of all the dew on it right now. But I'm waiting to see what it's going to do before I start hitting it with all these treatments. So that's it for right now. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of long, but I hope that you stay tuned for all of it and got some good information out of it. If you liked it, please hit subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever way. And give me some feedback, give me some comments. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and this is the Mooch Long Guy out.